see so much talent before I even spoke to her.
She had a goal and a vision to be a player, and that's what me and my coaches saw.
I think it's just her ability just to be a consistent presence.
My name's Durga Dharmadhikari and I'm from Pune, India, and I've been playing at Cardiff Met for the last year and a half now. So I started playing at the age of 7. My dad used to be a huge Michael Jordan fan, and we used to watch Michael Jordan videos a lot. Just watching those videos just inspired me to start playing basketball. The school that I went to, it was called St. Mary's, and if anyone knows anything about St. Mary's, that the girls' basketball team is like a huge deal to them. Even though Mary's is pretty academic school, they value their academics a lot, but they value their sports a lot as well. I was representing Mary's in the local tournaments, like the inter-school, inter-club district tournaments. I got the opportunity to play for the district from there. When I was 12 years old, from one of the state championships, I guess one of the selectors called the coach at my school up and told him that me and one of my teammates had gotten selected for the state camp. I was obviously excited because I'd been playing under 13 for like 4 years at that point, because that was the first competitive level that you could play at when I was that age. Because I'd seen so many of my seniors go through that and represent the state and then come back and tell everyone about their experiences and stuff. So I actually wanted to do it. I wasn't really aiming for it, but I mean, I was just really excited that it had happened. So after St. Mary's, I did 11th and 12th from Fergusson College, because you usually do that in India. I went to Fergusson College for my 11th and 12th, and because it was my class time was so much less than school, I could go somewhere else and play as well. I joined Deccan Gymkhana in the summer after I got done with 10th standard. One of the coaches, she took over. Her name's Kajal Ambedkar, and she's the one who's been the most instrumental person in my life, even like basketball and otherwise. And she's basically the one who's taught me how the role that mental strength and stuff plays. She taught us how the things that you do off the court count for more than what you do on the court. I try to learn from all the experiences that I've, like, obviously, like, you try to learn from all the experiences that you have, whether they're good or bad. But I think Khelo India was the first tournament where I was representing the state. Where I had been selected as a standby, not in the main team. That was the first time that I'd experienced that. And my coach, Kajal Ambedkar, she made me realize that even if I've been selected as a standby, it doesn't make a difference. So for Khelo India, they held tryouts in 2019, obviously, because it was in Jan 2020. And I was selected as the first standby, which was really annoying for me because I'd never been selected as a standby before. Well, luckily I still got the opportunity to play the games because, well, luckily for me, because one of my friends actually, she'd gotten injured at that time and she wasn't able to recover to a point where she was feeling her best. She was fine, but she just wasn't recovered 100%. So they asked me to fill in for her, and that's how I got lucky enough to play the games at that time. I mean, it wasn't just, I hadn't been playing against local players forever at that point. I'd been representing the state for a long time. So I had enough experience to perform in the Khelo India Games. There was one game that, if I remember correctly, that I played really well because I wasn't getting enough playing time, well, not a lot of playing time before. But one of the games where I did actually play really well, I think the coach got more confidence to put me in after that. And then the semi-finals of the Khelo India tournament was where that was probably one of my favorite games that I've ever played because I had we were the underdog, so we were playing against Punjab, whose average height was about 5'11", and we were severely undersized. We were just nobody thought we would win, but I was just really happy that I had the game-winning. Everyone calls it an and one in basketball. So I had the game-winning basket. I think the score was tied at that point, and I scored the free throw that put us up by 1, and that's how we won the game. So that was probably one of the best games. We played the finals. We lost the finals. We came second in Khelo India, but we played finals against Kerala, and they were just a much better team than we were. I got lucky with COVID, everything just shutting down and me not having to go to college and stuff. It allowed me to focus more on basketball and actually form a tangible plan for it. My house has a really big terrace, so I could use that to work out. And even if I wasn't actively playing basketball, I was still working on my short form and my agility and stuff. So I knew that when I got back onto the court, I was ready for it.
And that is a start. Durga taking it all the way to the hoop and makes it. Now Durga Dharmadhikari spots up for a jumper, nothing but net. Durga Dharmadhikari replies with a 2 of her own.
I was researching a lot of things in COVID simply because I had the time to do it, and I was trying to see how I can get to where I want to be. I came across EuroPro Basket, which is an academy in Valencia, and they host a lot of different programs, but for women's they have a women's professional program where you basically go there and train for 3 weeks, and they get you exposure and teams. I mean, nothing's guaranteed obviously because it depends on how you play, but they basically try and send your film and resume out to different teams in Spain and other countries in Europe, and hopefully get you a professional team to play for. I prepped a lot before going to the academy because I knew it was going to be difficult. But the coaches there, they were really good. Just being there in person and being able to ask the questions that I have personally, that was just so much, I would say, really educational, because I got to know. I would have never considered some of the things he was talking about.
Well, I remember Durga when she first attended our program that she was a polite, focused, determined player. She was ready, physically ready. She was in good physical condition. She was open. She was learning with the coaches. She was interacting with her teammates. So it seemed like she was going to be a player that would transition pretty easily to the style of basketball that's played here in Europe. She came to our women's program where we had a smaller group. She adapted pretty quickly and easily. You could tell that she's worked on her skill training before, and so she fit right in. Also with the other players and with the coaches, the communication was good. Typically throughout the course of the program, we have different class sessions where we introduce opportunities with professional basketball, with university basketball in the US, and opportunities in Europe. So I think her initial interest was to be a professional player, but also she liked the idea of playing basketball in another country like UK, and also studying and getting a master's degree. Cardiff Met has a very good basketball program, probably one of the best in the UK. Yeah, we had 2 coaches here the year before. From Cardiff visiting the facilities. I went to Cardiff and visited their facilities and met with their directors and their coaches as well. So we've had a very close relationship. the past few years. So.
When I was training at EuroPro, they were obviously trying. I had compiled my film from all the national championships that I played from the previous year to send to them, so that they could send it to teams. So I was initially looking for like an actual professional team to play for, but because the national championship doesn't really count as a very high level of competition, because India is not exactly known for basketball right now, it's really difficult for teams to actually look at that film and take you based on that film, because they don't know how you'll perform in their league. And then it depends on your passport as well, because there's different eligibility rules, like import fees for different passports. While I was there, they sent us like a template to fill out, because they have like a standard resume thing. So I just put in my stats and my like player profile and stuff in that. So I asked him if there was a way where I could build my resume up to be stronger, and get like better quality film to get a good team, to get an actual team. And that's when Brad told me about the university programs where I could go where I could get my master's degree as well as play for a good team to get like better footage of me playing against like high level competition. And that's how I got the opportunity to come here from EuroPro. I got an email from the coach at Northumbria University. Cardiff Met was the first one that got back to me. But by the time I got the second call, I'd already spoken to Steph, and I was basically sat on Cardiff Met at that time.
There's a number of reasons before I even spoke to her, was the fact that her skill set was elite. Knowing that her background coming from India, probably not as developed in terms of like the women's basketball leagues there, or their standing in comparison to other countries across Europe, or for the matter of the world. So I knew this would kind of be a new experience for her. What I saw from Durga from just the recruitment process of watching her on film, but then when I actually got a chance to speak to her via video call, we connected, and you could just really see that hunger and that ambition to want to live in a new country, to be able to get her master's degree, to be able to play basketball at a good level, and kind of be in a new, different environment just to help propel her and to develop her. I think because she came in halfway through the season last year, so she actually got to play 1 or 2 games with our BUCS team. But just to see the progress that she made in such a short space of time, credit to her, because I think she's really kind of like realized how much like support there is here at Cardiff Met. So our performance services team, fantastic. Obviously got myself as full-time head coach. So I think her buy-in to strength and conditioning has really propelled her to deal with the physicality of playing a lot more 5v5, and also just like her ability just to keep getting better. And I can see that through phases of play, and there's always going to be natural peaks and troughs of the season, but I think the main thing for her is she stayed determined, and like you could just see that she's just taking every single moment that she's had and every opportunity and seizing it. And I think that's like a really good credit for her, because I think for her now moving on, I think this experience alone with how well she's done is going to help her for the next opportunity, being in a different environment.
Personally, I feel like I could have given a lot more to the team, and I could have played a lot better. But it was still really fun to just travel with the team on Wednesdays, and then do home games at the same time. It was a little hard balancing it with class timings, because I used to either miss classes on Wednesday or attend class and then go straight to the game afterwards. So that was a little difficult, but I had other players doing it at the same time as me. So I got to learn a lot about myself and how I deal with things and how to like manage my time much better through doing all that stuff. I think the most rewarding part has just been getting to know so many people from so many different parts of the world, because if I just stayed in Pune, I probably wouldn't know the people I know now. Both personally and professionally, I would combine the two, and I don't know how it will look yet, but just knowing that I made an impact, like making Indian basketball more visible of any kind through basketball.